Welcome to Kolorflow Conversations, where we flow freely, speak boldly, and connect colorfully. I am Yukisha, and this is.
Takesha.
And as you can see, we have a special guest with us. Um, I don't know how to explain who you are to me because, I guess you started off being a client, and again, to.
First, let me say welcome to our girl chat.
Oh, I forgot to say welcome to our girl chat.
Let me say that because we have new people that's coming in, so I feel
Yes.
like
That come
we
in every
need
week.
to get that out there because it's just more than just I don't know.
Yeah, it is girl chat, but our chat flows. So we haven't had a guest in a while. Today we do have a guest. She started off as a client, and then uh, I always tell Takesha, well, I never tell her anything about guests. I always be led by the spirit on who I think would be a good guest for us to have a conversation with. So she don't know anything about you,
Oh,
and you don't know anything about her, and our whatever we flow with in conversation, I just hope that somebody will be helped by the conversation, and that me and Takesha always learn every week about ourselves and everything. So, Leslie, you are a person that since I met you, you have been like an inspiration, and I would say mentor because even though you probably don't know, I feel like that about you.
mm-mm.
Um, it's things that you shared with me that I feel like I can relate to. The loss of our mothers. Um, you've had a lot of grief that you have dealt with, but you also are a very successful woman in the city. And I
Really?
yes, and I wonder how you manage all of that with, you know what I'm saying? Because me and Keisha, we successful too.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
not.
Yes.
yeah.
I
No,
am not.
no, yeah.
I am just an ordinary girl day to day.
But no. We're all successful on the terms of our own journey. Because sometimes success looks like just getting through a day without strangling the hell out of somebody. And sometimes success is just making it through the day and knowing that there's a truth in your heart, but if you share it, it's going to tear down your world. So you got to keep carrying it and not saying what you really want to say. And that's what success look like sometimes. Not cussing people out who deserve to be cussed out. Success sometimes is just staying in the bed and getting the rest that your body really needs. Prioritizing it. So for me, every day is a successful day. Every day. I don't care what it is, you can find a kernel of success in every day.
I'll get there one day.
How did you get to that point though? Because and I say that because when you and I talk, you always, even if you're going through something, I guess, or have been through something, you seem to try and pull yourself out of it, if that's what it is.
Yeah, well, muscle is developed from resistance. So everything that I talk about is been born and built and continues to be nurtured through it's just adversity.
Mm.
Everything I learned about life, I was taught by death.
Mm.
The losses, having to bounce back, having to continue on in spite of. I learned the talent of in spite of. Because there's sometimes where I don't know what kind of language we can use. This is colorful conversation.
Go ahead.
Sometimes I don't give a shit. I'm sitting there like, you know what? Not today, devil. And it's in those moments that I find strength that I really didn't know I had. And strength abandons me some days. I love that the women that are around me and the lionesses in my pride believe that I don't have those moments, but I have them regularly. The difference is, as an only child, I've conditioned myself to pick myself up.
I think that I forget that you were only child. I forgot that. And you're the only child that lost your mother and you lost a spouse.
Yes. Everybody. I'm an only child of an only child of an only child, and my husband is deceased, and he had cancer, so we weren't able to have children before he came out of remission and passed away. So I don't have children. And it's interesting because when I was younger, I don't remember exactly when, my greatest fear was dying alone. And I think that fear was passed on to me by my grandmother. I sat with old women, so I picked up
That
those
was
things.
my mother's greatest fear.
And
Dying alone.
and it is something that is on the surface being realized. But what I defined as alone then is not alone now, because I choose my family and my village. So we never really die nor live alone. And I had to learn that by everybody being gone. And it is an incredibly quiet world. Everybody loves like, oh, Leslie, where are you this time? And where are you coming from? And where have you been? But I keep moving a lot when I'm not feeling strong enough to be feeling. So if I change my environment or I change where I'm going, then I don't focus on how I feel.
I think the outside people would look at you as being successful. Like I said, you're successful because I know what type of job you've had. You're well traveled. So from our surface level eyes, it's like, girl, you got it going on. You got this nice house and big house too.
See, it doesn't seem big to me. I don't know.
So from us, it looks like but in those moments, like our last conversation that we shared, when I told you I wanted you to come be a guest, you were sharing things like hey, you still deal with stuff.
Oh yeah. Here's the thing. I don't think we really understand that several things can be true at the same time.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
I am in a constant, ever-present state of grief. Constant. I've made peace with grief. I've introduced grief as something on my shoulder when I've spoken. Because she goes with me, and I ask her permission if I can go there that day about my mother or my husband or something. I have literally made grief into a human figure. A physical figure.
I've never heard it said like that.
And the reason that I do that is because it allows me to remain true to how I feel in that moment. Like, grief is very real. It is a real thing, and people struggle trying to act like they're not in it.
See, in my family, you know how you said you made the grief a present. We named it, so everyone has mine. She's Roxy.
There you go.
I didn't know that about you either.
Yeah, there you go.
Really?
There you go. And she has dominion over certain areas of my life, because grief comes and goes as it wants to. You don't know what the trigger may be. It may be a song. I have seen a woman who looked just like my mother and damn near tore up my car. To the point that I thought that she was a manifestation of my mother, just like standing out on the street somewhere. And the woman just resembled, because we all have doppelgangers around here. We all have some, but how about I was haunted, and I am haunted often by my own mirror, because I look so much like my mother that I can see my mother in the mirror. If I happen to be struggling Mother's Day, my trip to Kenya and things that I'm excited about, and I want to call her or somebody. And not just, not like my friends, whatever, but I want to call those people, like you want to call your mother about a recipe or something like that. And in that moment where I go, that stabbing feeling when I realize that I cannot, she has dominion. I understand what areas of my life are not under my authority. And I submit to those areas. And hence I don't struggle. I have cried in the middle of Myers, sobbing, ugly, snotting cry, because a song came on overhead. I didn't know the song was going to hit me like that day. I don't give a damn who's looking at me. In that moment, and it's that willingness to always show up for myself. That's the confidence that everybody else picks up when I come in a room.
That is.
That's it.
That is.
That's it.
That's
That
why
is.
I'm like,
That's
how
it.
do you do that?
I look at it as clearly God did not mean for me to blend in. Look at my hair. I have been this way a long time.
Same. I'm about to say the same.
every picture that I'm in, I don't have to look for my face.
Mm-hmm.
To me, my hair says that God is saying, child, lest ye not be confused. You will not ever lose yourself. I don't. I don't. I don't color. You know this. You've been beating my face for years. I don't tarry about certain things, and I didn't realize that was confidence. I just thought it was Leslie being Leslie.
Mm-hmm.
But I show up for Leslie every day, twice on Sunday, all day on the weekends, triple time on holidays.
I think the most powerful confidence, though, is being who you truly are.
And being cool with my frailties and my failures.
Because a lot of people put on a show, so to speak, or want that other representative to show up at all times.
Yeah.
Like how you said you cried at the store. I was with Keisha and broke down at Floods about my mother passing away. I didn't care.
No.
And we out at the bar. I pulled out the obituary.
No.
But that's things that someone else would never do, even if they were feeling that, because they're so busy trying to put on a
Life is not a
so to
performance
speak.
art.
It's not.
Life is not performative. It is not a performance art. Life is really a journey in truth and vulnerability, and the strength is in the willingness to submit to those things. Honey, listen. I had big beef with God. Big beef with the Almighty.
We beefing right now.
Yeah.
Straight beefing.
Yeah.
Like, really? This what we doing? Like, really? And it's those twists and turns. I remember my biggest fallout, and I think that's why we remain children of God, because children have tantrums.
Mm-hmm.
Adults have just meltdowns, but they still tantrums. But when Keith was murdered, my boyfriend was murdered about 2 years after my husband died. When I first started, I started dating after my husband was murdered. So my husband died in 2010. Keith was murdered in 2012. When Keith was murdered, me and God straight fell out. Or should I say I fell out with God. Fell completely out. Outside of my belief system, outside of my faith base, outside, I was angry. I was all kinds of things. I thought I was bad luck. I thought I was a black widow. I didn't know. I had all kinds of thoughts. Your mind is a terrible neighborhood to hang out in, by the way.
Amen.
Because it will tell you shit that just ain't true.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, I worked my way around to, which is showing up for myself. That was his journey. Let me stay out of God's business, because I am God's business.
That's a lot. That's heavy. When you said that you was beefing with God, like, you still beef with God?
Not as much.
But you still do.
Not as much.
Not like you did.
The fire of those losses have shaped me in such a way that I really cannot. I'm not easily moved. See, I recognize that these were things that were happening around me and not to me. To me, a child thinks that everything is happening to them, and they respond accordingly. A woman understands that things may be going on around her, but she still can choose to not let them be in her. So I don't beef with God like that anymore. I'm more inquisitive about, what does this mean?
Did your mother take you to church when you was little?
No, I took myself.
You went yourself?
There were stretches where I went myself.
You just, like starting as a teenager, you started going yourself?
No. My mom did start me out. We've been our family are members of Hartford Memorial Baptist Church. So we started there, and but when we moved, like, say, to Texas, and I would get on a little bus that would come to our apartment building and go to church with all of my friends in the apartment complex. So there were certain times that my relationship has grown and evolved, and it's stronger when it's not delivered through another person. Like when I went to Catholic school, I didn't know the Lord in Catholic school because I didn't like the nuns. So, when it's delivered through another person, it's a whole other thing. But when I study and show myself approved, when I build my own relationship, because I never knew it all. I thought all of that was, people just said what they said. I don't like church folks. Let me say it on record. I don't like church folks. I don't like y'all. And the reason I don't like y'all is because you all have these fantasy of rules that people must abide by in order for them to look good in your eyes. God I serve says, all I have to do is just show up and be who he made me to be.
So you start building a relationship with God yourself outside of it, because you talk strongly about, like, you talk about God like he your homeboy.
Oh,
like,
we chop it. We
Yeah.
chop it. We chop it up. We chop it up. People might pull up to me at a light. I'll be like, you know what, Lord, I don't need to be in a room with so and so because I don't like her. But if she gonna be there, you need to tell, give me some extra, give me something, give me a sign. And I say this to God all the time. I don't do well, Lord. I don't do well with signs and parables and symbols. I need straight communication. Short of you walking in here and telling me exactly what you want me to do, I need it to be clear. And if it's not clear, I ain't doing nothing. I'm not moving.
Your your career and business savviness and all of that, those things are great about you, and you've been able to grow with everything that's happened. How did you do that at the same time as everything else? Like you saying, grief is a person that you carry with you. How did you do all of that at the same time? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my therapist says I'm a really good compartmentalizer. First of all, the fact that I have and continue to have and will have a therapist. I don't have all my own answers. I know what my IQ is. I know academically what I was able to do. I literally tested out of high school at 12 years old. I know this. I have all the documentation. My mother kept me in there because she said, you're too damn smart. And, back then you didn't, kids going to college now at 12, 13, 14. My mother wasn't going to let me do that. I'm able to, a gift, keep the main thing the main thing. I am able, and that's why I say multiple things can be true at once. I can be, if I told you I'm going to be here right now, you do not know what my emotional state was 15 minutes ago. You have no idea. Now, that part of life is performative. Because once you make a decision to show up, show the hell up. Or be honest and say, I don't have it today. It's the people who know they don't have it and bring a half-ass to whatever they're doing. Those are the ones to me that are the problem.
You got friends that understand that? If you ain't got it in you, though, that you can't do it today?
No, I have friends that understand that about me. I don't know if they understand or honor themselves that way. See, I am, the season I'm in right now is I'm in the pruning season. And what I mean the pruning season is everybody ain't gonna go on this journey with me on these next legs. Because I tend to be the one that people gravitate to, call, have, can you bounce this off, you do this, can you do this? I have not borrowed money from anybody ever. I'm the one that they call. That's cool. I understand me and God have worked it out that may be the role that he has for me and others' lives. But everybody can't go on the next few legs of this journey. And I understand that. And I have the courage to honor that. You know what this thing is? This thing is not that you don't know. This thing right now is what you know and what you have the courage to enforce. You know who don't belong in your life. You know who you can do without. You know who it, but you gotta have the courage to say, hey, let me holler at you. let me.
Keisha, do you have any people that you feel like don't belong in your life?
Yeah. Right now? Yeah. I mean, I feel like I removed the
low hanging fruit.
people, yeah, I feel like I've removed the like main whatever, but there's always, well, not always. I do believe that there's people that I associate with that I probably, it's like because you're used to them.
The relationship is not growing. It doesn't. It doesn't
not
serve
and,
you, but
yeah.
you just there's no catalytic event for you to cut them off.
And really, honestly, Takesha and Leslie, if I did like cut off those people, like my circle to me is already small. Even though I know a lot of people, like you know a lot of people. My circle is small, so when I look at that circle and I think about like where I am now in my life and where I may be trying to go or whatever, there are people that I'd be like, you know what, this is just cause like I say it all the time, Keisha. I'm like trying to intentionally not gossip, or I'm trying to intentionally not, just that low vibrational whatever. And when you keep those people around, it's easy to like go back into that because you haven't completely, I guess cut them off,
But some people keep them for another reason.
What's
Some people
that?
keep them because at least you're not as bad as
Yeah,
at least
yeah.
so they become the barometer by which you measure your own growth. Because they're always going to be right there. Everybody got these people that no matter how long it is since you talk to them, they're going to be saying that same story. They're going to be talking about that same thing.
Yeah.
And it because growth is not necessarily where they are in their journey. And the question I had for myself is, why do I keep? Because I used to measure my friendships by longevity. So I have had some friends since I was 10, 11, 12 years old. Friendship to me is the highest form of honor because I'm an only child. So your friends become like your family. So I used to carry a lot of people, but I realized it was because I felt guilty about my own success. So I didn't want them to think I was leaving them behind. And in reality, I have to leave them behind. I have to leave them behind. And I'll give you contextually, I'll give you an example. I love to grow, and you've probably seen this on my Facebook. I love to grow roses. I grow the most difficult types of roses. I got that from my grandmother. But the one step in roses in order to keep them growing is you have to deadhead them, which means once they've bloomed, you got to cut that off in order for it to bloom again. And everything I've learned about business, people, whatever, I can circle it back to my gardening. And some people, when the relationship has run its course, we act like we don't know it. And you do know it. You do know it. Like my friends from the block, I was the first one off the block that didn't get pregnant. I was the first one off the block that graduated high school, went to college. So being first is a lonely journey anyway. And when you are immature and uncertain, you want to bring everybody with you so they'll still know that you still, I'm still Les, I'm still whatever. No, I'm not. So the only way they'll grow is if I cut them off. They have a choice. Now I don't cut them off like they're not anything. I cut them off because they're at the expense of my own growth. And then hopefully they'll grow. But that's not my job.
Have you cut off everybody that you thought you need to cut off?
Absolutely.
But were they ever? How close were they to start with?
I've had family.
Yeah, that's my whole point. That's my whole point. That's my whole point. The more difficult they are to cut off, the more necessary they are to cut off. If it's easy, like the one who pissed you off, the one who stole your man, the one who took some money, nah. It's the ones when you sit across the table at dinner and you realize that this conversation isn't feeding you any more than the food is. So yeah, you got to and that's interesting. That's where I am in this season. And I have 3 people that I have reached out to, and I've kind of said it. I'm not doing it anymore.
You in the season of cutting off friends?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and I don't look at it as cutting off friends, even though that's exactly what it is. I don't have a problem stating it. I am releasing you to the universe to go be your better self. Because this thing, I'm releasing you to the universe for you to be your better self. Because some people need to have it feel like it's about them. That's not how my ego is set up, so I don't give a damn who it's about.
You had a job here, and I don't know if you want me to say the name.
I don't care.
You don't care? Okay.
I ain't in no non-competes. Shit, my non-competes have expired.
Well, you was an assistant or whatever it was to one.
Which company?
Gilbert.
So I was director of community relations and corporate giving for Detroit, Cleveland, Scottsdale, and Charlotte. Quicken Loans family company.
So let me ask you, because
So I gave away money, I guess.
so my question to you is, you decided to leave that position.
No,
You didn't?
no. They decided.
Okay.
They decided. And I thank them now. I couldn't thank them then because I had never felt professional rejection before that. And they decided because it taught, here's a few lessons. One, somebody else deciding your future and you ain't even in the room. Somebody, if you work for someone, they literally are deciding the direction of your life, your value. They're deciding all these things without your input. I don't give a damn what your performance review says. That's one. Two, what I do is not who I am. And that was a very high profile, very ego stroking, very fulfilling role that I was in, where everybody knew my name. But what ultimately it ended up being is when I lost the role, I learned who was in it, who was with me for the role, and who was it. Something you need those crossroads so people can eliminate themselves. Now, the truth is that in the Jewish faith, only Jewish people have the capacity to be that close to the money. So I reported to 7 people. I didn't have authority, so I wasn't empowered, I was employed. But I was the face that they needed, and I felt like if somebody's gonna be out here fighting for my folks, it would be me, because I'm not bought and paid for. I am transactionally on the front line. That's different. Because I didn't let them rewrite what Detroit was or wasn't. There were many a meeting where I was like, no, that ain't what we do. So the person that is doing that work now, Dan took his money into a family foundation, and that means that somebody Jewish has to be over it in that sense.
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, they'll never say it, but here's what I know. I'm a student of, and one of my many third eye gifts is I know patterns. I pay attention to patterns, especially being the only African American woman in that frame. I mean, literally, I was the only one. And here's what I knew.
I don't think people realize how revealing patterns are.
Oh, absolutely. Patterns
But
tell
I
you
also know that
everything you
everybody
need to
doesn't
know.
have that gift of paying attention to
No,
patterns, too,
no.
which is something that I thought everybody had.
But most people are looking for what they've decided they're looking for. I look for redundancies and patterns. So what I knew was I'll never be 30 again. I will never be male. I will never be Jewish. I will never be... I'm looking for language, not because I'm afraid to say it, but I want it to be accurate. I will never be his worshiper. You know, so those things, when I began to look at who was getting the attention, who was getting whatever, and then I looked at how they did it. I mean, he didn't do it. See, that's not who he is. And everything I was supposed to get, and someone said, well, I can't believe he did that. I said, he's not my father. He didn't owe me anything. Every one of my paychecks cleared. He didn't owe me anything. Everything that I got out of that relationship, that work situationship, let me be clear, I maximized it. I got a master's degree that I didn't pay for. It's worth $60,000. I went and earned it, but they paid for it. Everything that I was supposed to get, I got out of that moment. but I had never known how to, go on now. We don't need you anymore. It was usually me leaving on my own terms. So that rejection had me in the bed for a month. Because I didn't know how. I'm the only child. I wasn't financially spoiled, but I was socialized in a spoiled way, meaning I was the apple of every single family member's eyes. I'm the oldest grandchild. I'm the oldest because I was first. I was the improvement over all of the alcoholism, abuse, and dissociative behaviors in my family. And then this baby was born and it was me. So I had never known that kind of rejection before. And then how do you pivot and turn that into something powerful? And the first thing you got to do is feel it.
You said that you notice patterns. And me and Keisha,
Patterns.
we never
No question.
said, I know you notice patterns.
Oh, yeah.
When did you realize that, well, Takesha, I know you probably realized that you noticed patterns like, we went to high school together. I didn't give you any back history. We just started talking. Takesha and I met in 10th grade. And we've been friends since 10th grade. I don't think we've ever had a moment we talk about that we broke in friendship. And I know she believed like that God knew that we was going to come to this point today, talking like we have conversations now and growing at the same, well, Takesha been spiritual for a long time. like her personality has been the same. You got some friends that change like over years and they be like, one year they're
I'm
like
the same.
this.
My friends say that all the time.
Yeah,
I
can believe that because as you're talking, I noticed a lot of similarities with you and her, and I never noticed that before. But yeah,
but patterns are a feature of IQ.
And that's what I was gonna say. I know she's been noticing patterns for a long time.
Patterns are a feature of IQ, and that's why IQ in itself is just a fallacy. It's ridiculous. It's just this incessant need to want to measure and categorize and sift people out. Everyone has a level of intelligence, but it's unique to who they are, like a fingerprint. Mm-hmm. For me, I know I'm high IQ'd because of how they measure, but I'm also high IQ'd because my memory is clear on how I discern and disseminate information. Like, and the thing that drives me now to this moment up until 30 seconds ago is I have an intense, barely controllable curiosity about life, about everything. And then I warehouse information. But when you talk about seeing patterns, that goes to taking tests. When you see a pattern, you can take a test because the pattern is, if it's A, B, and C, then 33% of it could be either one or the other. But more than 50% of the time it's going to be A, and then it's just a pattern. There's patterns. Everything has a pattern. Everything. But everybody doesn't see it because that's not how their IQ is wired and set up. The reverse of it, I can't do interior design to save my life. I'm a Garanimals kind of whatever, mixing patterns and colors and stuff. I have zero interest in that. So that means I gotta pay somebody to do it. Otherwise, my life and my house are going to be, nice, but it's not going to be eclectic and out there because that's not the patterns that appeal to me. And I'm people curious. I'm intensely people curious, and that's why I don't believe I've ever been cheated on by a man.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why you say that?
Because I intensely pay attention to patterns. So the minute you get out of a pattern with me, if you call me every day at 7 and then you call me at 8:30 and there's no logical reason to
it. You said you don't think you've ever been cheated on.
No. So much so that my girlfriend.
That's how I knew that in my last situationship, because I've never had a boyfriend. That I knew that there was someone else involved
because he broke patterns.
Of him breaking patterns.
And I'm so
first day
intrinsically trenched in it that I'll give you a real quick story example. I had a girlfriend. She knew that I said, first of all, you don't respect yourself because you don't respect your intuition because you already know what this is. You and this over reliance. Leslie don't operate on evidence. I don't need evidence. If my spirit says it's this, that, and the third, I don't give a damn if I have the evidence or not. Evidence is for cowards. Evidence is for people who don't have the courage to show up for themselves and don't trust who they are in that moment. Baby, I'm going to meet every moment in just the way that moment deserves to be met. That's when you hear my voice going up, you hear my passion. I don't play about that. I'm going to meet every moment. But here's a quick story. Wow. So she calls me all in okay, and I'm going to go over there. I said, go ahead. Go ahead. He ain't answering his phone. But I ain't going to go in because I want. I said, you ain't got to go in. Let me help you out. I said, when you go over there, go, and what did he tell you? Well, he told me that he didn't answer the phone because where he was, he didn't have a signal or whatever. This is the 90s, it could have been. I said, when you go over there, you ain't got to go in at all. I said, when you go over there, put your hand on the hood of his car. If it's cold, he's been there the whole time. If it's hot, he just zoomed back in, but that don't mean he zoomed back in from wherever. But if it's just warm, he done gone, came back, went upstairs, and he's sending your ass a voicemail. You ain't gotta go in. Mm-hmm. Everything that you need, but since you need evidence.
Most people feel like, women. A lot of women feel like they need evidence.
That's because they're at battle with their intuition because they're not ready to accept the truth.
Let me ask you a question since we're talking about that, because I'm one of those people where I don't need closure and I don't understand closure.
Closures, doors, and windows. I don't give a damn about no closure.
Okay.
You didn't ask your question.
That was my question. Yeah, because I was just
windows.
like, I don't understand. So when people be like, I need closure, I be like,
they need closure.
Isn't what happened?
No, they need closure because they're not ready. And most of the times you're either not ready to accept that you wasted either time and you're continuing to waste time, or that you've chosen the wrong person and you got tied in, or you already knew this and you thought you were going to be different. And you done found out that you're not different. And finally, you don't love yourself enough to actually have your own dignity. See, I am certain if it has happened, I ain't know nothing about it. I've had a person say to me, I don't think this is going to work because I don't want to cheat on you. I appreciated the information. But I'll tell you why. Because for the longest time, remember I said about 20 minutes ago? For the longest time, I would reach back for guys and try to dust them off like, you okay? Like I was, because I didn't have the men around me who were either complimentary or aspirationally ahead of me. Mm-hmm. And again, I am so far ahead of the people who are normally around me that I don't have a lot to choose from. I had a therapist have to walk me through that. And he said, you keep reaching down for men and you have decided it's a good thing because you don't want them to feel bad about themselves, even when they should feel bad about themselves.
This sounds very similar.
Yeah.
And when I stopped reaching down for men, mm-hmm. then I stopped having to have that conversation. But it required me to enforce the standard. And I wouldn't enforce the standard. Oh, it's okay, yes. No, I have a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house. I have 2 degrees. I have a job in New York and I live in Detroit. And I have 3 businesses. I'm a soon to be published author. You have to know who you are in your totality. And then when you look at that other person and say, okay, and it can't be because he looked good and he looked like his bedroom skills are sufficient. I'm looking like, yeah, no. And that's hard. That's hard.
At this point, would you want to get married again?
Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. I've been dating the same man for 3 years and some change, and he's 11 years older than me. And he's like, well, I want to get married. I don't want to get married. That was our 3rd date. I said, listen, I don't want to be married. And people think they can love you over to their side. Mm-hmm. No, I don't want to be married.
And your reason is because
I've grown to enjoy my own company more than I would sharing myself with somebody else. I told him, you as your girlfriend, significant other, woman, you're getting the absolute best out of me. You will not get any more greater out of me if I was your wife. You won't. You won't.
You said you won't get anything more greater.
Because I'm getting more and more selfish as I age. I'm getting more and more selfish with my time, and it's interesting. I've never had an esteem problem.
Let me ask Takesha this, because we go back and forth about if she want to be married or if I want to get married.
Have you ever
again.
been married?
Okay. Remember, I never had a boyfriend.
Oh, that's right. That's true. That's true.
I haven't, Keisha. I really want you to respect that.
Okay.
Because I've dated guys, and I use date loosely because I think I've had maybe 2 or 3 take me to a restaurant.
Let me ask you what's the definition. That's all I'm saying. What you think a boyfriend is?
I think that that's someone who's courting you, has some type of intentions. I've had people who wanted to fuck me, not be their girlfriend. So that's why I say I've never had.
Because you don't think anybody had intentions.
I know they didn't. It wasn't that I thought it. It was, I knew.
Yeah, you know.
But I just went through the motions because I was looking for the love.
Yes.
So I'm thinking like, oh, if I do this and go through it, then it'll shift to that. But and most of them, like, I end up finding out, like, they all had partners.
Yeah.
Some had serious partners. I've had 2 get married on me. His stepmother told me he's getting married.
Yep.
So that's why I say, like,
because I guess the definition of it, when you use that word intention, I
like if you're courting,
you're
going somewhere. Mine was never going anywhere from the beginning other than the bedroom.
Yeah.
It was always just good times.
And understanding that and being okay with it.
Yeah, that's why
See,
I'm like.
Sometimes women do this Jedi mind trick thing where, well, I knew I wanted to fuck him the day I saw him. The very first day I saw him. But let me play this role like we go together and whatever else, so I won't feel like I'm a hoe. Or I won't feel like I'm the... No, I operate off of energy. If my energy says that we're going to go and do this right now, and I just met you 15 minutes ago, I'm good with that. Because I'm not open for judgment or opinion from anybody else. And that's just me. I'm going to be held accountable to that. Yeah. I'm going to be held accountable to that. But here's for the sake of the conversation and the flow. When I told him that that was the best, that he's getting the best right now, it's because I look at what's the currency that I operate on in my life. And that's a very important thing. What is my currency? How am I operating? And my currency is time. So if you're getting my time, you're getting the absolute best of me, because it's the one thing I can't get back, no matter how I want to try. I cannot get yesterday back. So if I spent any part of yesterday with you, because here's the other part for me, is I've learned that my relationships used to fill in my gaps. Because my father dealt with alcoholism and he was just not always present. So I didn't learn what I should get from a man. Because to me, your father's the first man that you're in love with. If he doesn't tell you and show you how you should be in her, and my mother never showed me, and she was never in a healthy relationship coming up. Right, so I don't know. I didn't know, so I give myself forgiveness and grace. I just didn't know. But even as a grown woman and continuing to grow, I have fewer gaps, but I have different ways to fill them now. So whatever man that I was sexually attracted to, I tried to use him to fill some other daddy gaps. And that wasn't his role. And I think
that I need to go back down my line, though, because when you use the definition of what you say is like boyfriend and thing, I probably ain't had as many as I thought.
No, because your definition is going to change as you grow and change. It should. If you sit here and tell me that the same criteria you have for your boyfriends in middle school and high school is the same you have now, I'm gonna run as fast as hell down Main Street. Now I don't know, I'm gonna block you. I'm gonna delete you, and then I'm gonna post, "Don't y'all mess with Keisha because her ass done went crazy." The reality is, as you do more, see more, be more, then what you allow in your life should change.
Yeah, cause I always like joke with her, like, girl, yes, you did have boyfriends, cause I know guys that we've dealt with through the years.
And that's literally all I was doing was
dealing
with
yeah.
them.
But now that we're almost a half century old, and I think about the people that I was involved with, like, well, maybe he was not my boyfriend, because when you use your definition, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much all it was. It was no intention, with many of the people that I dealt with. Now, I know I've had some boyfriends. I think I just haven't had as many as I.
And we can't confuse the criteria of the moment
Mm-hmm.
with the criteria of our life.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the criteria of the moment. And then I can circle it always by, as a Bible, when I was a child. Fill it in. Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
I could ask whoever wrote that book, because again, I wasn't present. People crack me up, but I'm not going to go on my religious path. But Jesus did not write not one thing. He didn't write nothing. These are stories, and stories are always up to interpretation, but I'm going to leave it alone.
Amen.
I'm going to leave it alone.
We'll
But
talk about that
I could
too.
fill in the blank. Not only did I speak as a child and I thought as a child, I did a whole bunch of shit as a child.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, you do put up childish ways. And see, men, if we give them clarity and if we give them boundary and we say what we will and we won't do, that is the only discerning point where you can find out who really is a man and who really just is a fuck boy.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem if you're a fuck boy, because that might be all I want you for at that moment. I don't have a problem. But don't present yourself one way and you're doing something else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I'll say on that, unless we want to keep talking about it, is we forget that men enjoy the pursuit.
Yes.
The rules of pursuit are different than the rules of stability. See, the rules of pursuit, I'm going to go in several different directions, and there's a hierarchy to this thing, and whoever, I got one for this, one for this, one for this, and one for this. But as women, we're looking for stability. Mm-hmm. So we want to find as much as we desire in one person. Come on, somebody. Come on.
I don't know where we are with time, but when you came to see me last, you
let me
shared
transition.
This with me.
So what we're talking about is my brand, which is Grown Woman. Mm-hmm. And the Grown Woman brand, for me, I wrote the Grown Woman Commandments because these were the guiding principles of how I managed to get through a lot of the things that I get through. Because with everything, I've lived out loud and up front, and all of those who were close to me kept saying, you got to write the book, you got to write the book. And this is not a thick book because it's going to have to happen in stages. But these 7 commandments plus a bonus is really the foundational principles of how I operate right now. So my brand is Grown Woman Brand. So there's, podcasts and other things. I want grown women to sit and have conversations with women who are coming up behind them. See, and it's the wisdom of my age, because now I'm preparing to turn 59, and I work way out, so I'm working on 60, because I went to a numerologist, and she says I keep seeing the number 60. And interestingly enough, things are starting to come to fruition as I get closer to 60. And so this is the book, these are the rules, and more importantly, these are rules that I play by, but it encourages the reader to develop their own commandments. Biblically speaking, commandments are the things that you are supposed to follow. Mm-hmm. This is just a detail of the ones that I choose to follow, that I've developed out of all of my situations.
Share one of them with us.
Absolutely. So The third commandment is grown women are financially savvy and sound. They understand value. And it's interesting, I don't have on my readers. But I need my readers, child. I'm going to read this. Lord Jesus, I know that part. I know we're running out of time. Let me hurry up and read this.
Take your time.
There we go. You know what? Let me do this other one. The fourth one. Grown women lift as they climb, and they are generous. The affirmation is, I am a woman who gives back with purpose and integrity. I am building a legacy that will outlive me, one action at a time. My life serves as a guidepost for others, inspiring them to walk in their own paths with courage. I am not afraid to pour into others, knowing that generosity fuels growth for us all. I recognize the value in every relationship and approach each with gratitude and intentionality. I give freely from a place of kindness, knowing that my actions have the power to uplift those around me. And I honor the guidance that I receive by working hard and pouring back into those who have invested in me. As I climb, I reach back to lift others, ensuring that my success leaves a trail for those who follow. And then there's a story about why lifting as I climb is important to me. It details my empathy. It details how I have always fought for underdogs, and how the unusual things that make me who I am. As a child, I was a bedwetter, and it made me understand how to live when your body betrays you. You know, it's just, there's different things. There's nothing I could do about it. And as strange as I think, why is that my story? Because it's woven throughout my life. No, it is not my issue now. But early on, I didn't go spend the night with people because I was always afraid that I would do things. You asked me how I started talking to God. I used to lay in bed at night and ask God, please don't let me wet on myself tonight. And I would sleep lightly so I wouldn't miss going to the bathroom because I didn't want what was going to happen the next morning, depending on where I was. My mother didn't make me feel bad, but there were relatives and there were others who made me feel like I was lazy and I just didn't want to get up. Not knowing that physically your brain hasn't developed, that part, the hypothalamus, hasn't developed enough to get the signal from your bladder. That's all it is. You know, that's the intellect in me, that's the pattern in me to figure out what it was. But it also made me a real strong advocate of those who are facing things that they can't control or they can't help. It developed the empathy in me, so I was never a bully. I was never bullied, but I was never a bully because I too was dealing with something that I couldn't control. And even all the way to the workplace, to my career, to my decisions about friends and who has residency in my life and who has agency in my decisions. It comes from an empathetic place because that, as a child, made me an empathetic adult. So there's more to come. There's the Grown Woman brand is going to be some of everything. I'm thinking chicken soup for the soul, Grown Woman commandments for work, for family, for love, for strategic decision making. More conversations. Not only loving participating in these podcasts, but also having one. But my intentionality is for the women behind me. And that, what I said about making the path, that to me is critically important. Including the fact that I don't feel 58 to be 59. When you get here, you realize that it doesn't feel, I don't feel old. But I do have a sense of responsibility when I got here. That's different for me.
Wow. Thank you, Leslie.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. And it is my pleasure to meet your energy with my energy.
Thank you. Yeah, I touch you. Thank you. Yeah.
I met her, I felt her energy the minute she came around, I came around the corner. But that is the beauty of when you decide to be your authentic self and really stay in touch with you, everything will be added onto you. Including the energy to get the fuck away from people.
Yes. Listen, I
have gone in a party and turned right around and went right out and went home. They said, "Where'd you go?" I said, "No, I got some energy in there. I can't. If you see me leave."
Thank you for joining our girl chat.
Thank you for having me. This is fun.
Come back.
This is fun.
We gotta have you back.
Yeah, because I got shit to talk about.
It's so much more we didn't say, but
Oh, child.
because I was so ready to talk, I just started talking because that's how it is.
That's how you are every week.
I know.
But that's how we are when I'm in her makeup chair too.
She be ready.
I be ready to talk, and I'm always anticipating how the conversations will flow because, like I said, I basically invited you, and I told Keisha, or asked her or whatever, we got a guest, and I only want people who authentically will flow and be honest with us and share like their stories or something that we could take away from and discuss later. Like, yeah, I felt that, I didn't realize I saw so many kind of similarities.
We're
with
more
you,
alike than we're different.
Yeah, I seen a lot of similarities that you was talking with you and Takesha though, from me knowing her, and now I'm learning more about you that I didn't know. So I'm like, oh, both of y'all are empathetic.
Yeah, but I am a slave to my energy.
Yeah, she
like
is too.
If I don't feel it, and the more you practice it, the more acute it becomes.
Yes.
And it's almost can be annoying.
Exclamation point.
Because if you go in a restaurant and you feel certain people's energy and it's a restaurant full of people, you're like, well, damn it, I'm hungry. But I feel somebody, is it this chef in the back? What is going on? And I'm still learning that about myself.
Let me ask you this. I know we gotta go, but how do you balance that, feeling those energies?
I don't. I just get comfortable being out of balance.
Okay.
I get comfortable being uncomfortable. Discomfort is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything ain't got to line up, and that is again the beauty of patterns. When they don't align, I still have to decide how I feel about it, and I don't have to feel anything about it. I can just notice it, and it don't move me. But if I am moved by everything I encounter, my schizophrenic ass will never get nothing done. I will never get shit done. That's what we need to. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
Everything that you encounter and engage does not deserve all of your energy. Calm your ass down. Because usually when you dedicate energy to it, it is from a low vibration state like fear or envy or something else like that. No. My confidence is perceived often as arrogance because I can't always be moved. Every day I was at Quicken, I knew I could easily walk out that door, go get in my car, and never look back because I know who and whose I am. So while you may pay me, you don't own me. I don't lend my energy to that. That's everywhere you go. That's everywhere. If this room energy wasn't right, I'd be like, you know what, Keisha, I love you, but this energy is in here. It's fucked up. I ain't standing here. I don't know what it is. It could have been the people. It don't have to be my sis. It could have been the people who was in here before. Can we go somewhere else? Come on. But then I also understand that my energy is not the dominant. So everything don't have to revolve around my energy. But that don't mean I ain't got to stay present.
Wow.
I can exit. Sis. Am I lying?
Not at all.
I can
I can
exit, and you can decide if you offended or if you are the offender. I don't really give a damn.
I don't care.
When I tell you I don't give a damn, my boyfriend says to me every day, he said, you really don't care. I said, I do not. And how do I reconcile that? I am incredibly empathetic. I overtip, I listen, I do it. I care about people, but over here, I don't give a fuck. If you like me, if you agree with me, I don't care. You're not going to do things in my presence that are unfair and unequal. I'm not going to dignify certain actions with my presence. And if I think you wrong, God damn it, I'm going to tell you wrong. And them two things are often at odds with each other, and I'm in the middle. And it is what it is. I may never master that. And that's okay.
Wow.
That's the uniqueness of me being me.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody other than my friend across from me explain that like That is
Did I leave anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure
All
you
right.
covered all the bases.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Because we are, and understand, I know I'm unique. I gotta walk this journey. Again, I use my hair as the symbol. I am walking a journey where I can't blend in. When nobody looks there, every single day somebody says, your hair is beautiful. I wish my hair did that. That is not an exaggeration. And it's nothing that I am doing. It is what I am being. And it is my reminder that I am just being. Just being. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And we all have a thing that is exemplary of that.
Mm-hmm.
We all have that thing. We just don't all know what to call it, and we don't all fully embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
I fully embrace it. I'm never nervous. I can walk in a room, 10,000 go on the stage. I don't give a damn what these people think about me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I am nervous, it is usually when I am talking about an ancestor who is germane to who I am at my core. So now I'm going into the compartmentalized, real vulnerable space.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can rarely talk extensively about my mother and not break out into tears. Because there's unhealed in there. There's some unhealing that ain't gonna never heal. Like when you post, usually, I wish I could talk to her today.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook just gave us an opportunity to say out loud what we otherwise, because we could say it all day in the house and nobody would hear it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're saying it and you're posting it, what you're saying is, I'm feeling this, I know someone else is. That's our sense of community, our way of vulnerabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And if we stay true to that, we would have a whole lot more, I think, authentic and good life. I do. I do. But we got a whole nother show we can talk about.
We'll start all over again. Look.
Yeah, because we're crisis-driven people. That's why Trump can trigger us, because we never let a good crisis go to waste.
Wow, we can start all. We definitely got to have you back, Leslie.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Anytime,
Thank you for taking out the
anytime.
time to come sit at the table with us and flow in the conversation.
Thank you for the blessing of having me. Because
I appreciate
every
you.
engagement, but especially with my sisters, is a blessing. It is truly a gift, because we are on a unique walk that only we can
walk.
Mm-hmm.
Baby.
Look, we want y'all to like, listen, subscribe, share. When will the book be out?
August.
We want y'all
Next
to
month.
purchase Grown Woman Commandments. I can't wait to read it.
I'm going to put the link in the whole nine.
Yeah.
And it was interesting when I saw you, all I had it was on my phone. By the
Yeah.
time I got home, my sample
You had
copy
that.
was there. And I appreciate God for taking me along the journey at the pace that I need to be at.
Yeah, if we can, we'll link it on the page as
Yep.
well.
Soon as everything is.
You
is
have
up and
anything
rolling.
else, my friend?
No, ma'am.
We will see y'all next week.